Those are great thoughts. Hey,
Right.
let me ask you something really, really important relative to the
Sure.
Marines. Speaking of the commander in chief, did you hear anything about the Marines being disarmed during the inauguration?
I did. As a matter of fact, on the Truth is Viral Facebook page, I put up a post asking for my fellow Marines to look at the footage from the 57th inaugural parade and look at it closely. Pete, I want you to do that too. And all of your listeners that are former Marines, I want you to look at those Marines. Pretend like you're an inspecting general. Some of these Marines were unshaven. If you look at their rank and files, they're walking all over it like ducks. They look like they're just bouncing back home on the block. And these are Marines from, they were supposed to have been Marines from Bravo Company at the Marine Corps Barracks, Washington, D.C., 8th and I Barracks. And all these guys do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year is drill, drill, drill. They know how to keep a straight line forward, left and right and diagonal. And when you watch that footage again, Pete, you're going to look at that and you're going to say, oh my God, those aren't even Marines. I've seen Marines on graduation day at Parris Island with more snap and pop than these guys. It's insane. So yeah, and that isn't the missing bolts from the rifles isn't the first time that this administration has shown that they don't trust the most trustworthy branch of service.
Explain something for our listeners that don't know what you just said. Missing bolts from rifles. What does that mean? Tell. I know what that means, but what does that mean?
Okay. Well, the M1 rifle that these Marines were carrying for ceremonial purposes has a bolt. It's basically the equivalent of a charging handle on an M16. You grab the outside of the bolt, rack it back, and slide it back forward, and it puts a bullet in. Well, if you don't have a bolt, you don't have any way to seat your bullet into the barrel of the rifle. So there's no way that any of these Marines could have, if they were Marines, could have just suddenly said, well, it's time to stand up for the Constitution and defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But not only did they not have rifles, Obama was surrounded by bulletproof glass. And so I'd say he's just a little bit paranoid, as is former Secretary of Defense Panetta, because the last time he visited Bagram Air Force Base, he forced the Marines to disarm before he would go into the room.
Dude, you know what?
Now,
I'm watching this thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm watching this, okay? These are a bunch of sloppy-looking Marines, man. They're marching in formation. They look like, they're a little bit out of sync, and they're not marching in straight file. That's wild.
They're sloppy, and
the sloppiest Marines. These are not Marine Corps Barracks Marines.
No, they're not. And the press release said that they were supposed to have been Marines from Bravo Company, and I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. Like I said, I've seen recruits on the parade ground at Parris Island more snap and pop than these guys.
Oh yeah, that's a very interesting point, ladies and gentlemen. What we just brought up. So what that implies, Bobby, is that the Marines that are surrounding the president, the most squared away Marines in all of the Marine Corps, right? They are the most squared away Marines. They're the most locked and cocked, as they call it. They were not present for that parade. That video that I just looked at is not from the Marine Corps barracks. Now, those are sloppy Marines that were taken, obviously, to replace the squared away ones. For whatever reason, obviously, they're very, very paranoid, right?
Obviously. You'd think that they would at least try to make it look good. I don't know how many other Marines have really studied that footage, but there's one guy, I think it's at 1 minute and 32 seconds. He's a Lance Corporal, and he's got eyes left. And this guy looks like he hasn't shaven in 2 days. And, I know that they're inspected, especially before an inaugural parade. They would be inspected to make sure that they don't have any Russian ropes or anything like that hanging off of their dress blues. And I can't imagine that any commander, whether it be at a squad level or company level or division level would have let these men go out and represent the United States Marine Corps dressed like slobs, walking like slobs. It just blows my mind.
Blown away by this, Bobby. I've never seen this. I've never even heard of this. I mean, I heard about their bolts being taken away, but these are not our top Marines. They would never allow these guys to be marching in formation. Like you said, out of boot camp, you don't even see that.
That's
in boot
correct.
camp, they're more locked and cocked. But very, very interesting that we bring that up. So we now, you and I know that we have a commander in chief who is in trouble. I'm going to have to keep you